Can I ask you something?
Certainly.
Who gives a fuck what you think? This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch. I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
Hey everybody, welcome back as we get closer to the finale of our Nightmare on Elm Street retrospective. As we keep watching these, I am so glad that we're getting closer to the end of this thing. But we might have a light at the end of the tunnel. We might have something, a little gem here at the end. But unfortunately, before we get to that little gem, we have to deal with this piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Freddy's dead.
Freddy's dead. The final nightmare. Oh my!
But it's not really the final nightmare. But for that film, yeah, it's sort of.
Well, technically it is. Technically it is. Wes would talk about New Nightmare, but technically this is the last.
It's the last of the original series, really.
Original series, yeah. I just don't want to put. Well, we'll dive into it there. Yeah. So there you go. Now, you have a not first-time director, a female director, Rachel Talalay, and she did a little film called Ghost in the Machine, which is a pretty solid little film. So you guys should check it out. It's probably her bigger, it's kind of the film that put her on the map as a director. And the reason she's a grab for this, at least I thought she was, is she has been headlining, producing this series since its birth.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to if you can't give it to Wes or he doesn't want it right away, you give it to someone else. And she's been equally just as involved, obviously more than Wes has, by being by this franchise since day one. What could go wrong, right?
Well, she to be fair, Rachel Talalay has went on and directed several very well directed and very popular episodes of Doctor Who, the rebooted series of Doctor Who. So ones with Peter Capaldi, especially. He even directed one of the recent 60th anniversary specials. So all I will say is that she's improved since Freddy's dead.
Yeah. Well, that's your opinion. Sure. Well, okay. Way to go, Rachel.
What?
Doctor Who. Fuck me. I mean,
so you're a fan. People listen back to our Doctor Who podcast.
I never said I was a fan. No. Don't put words in my mouth. I do that to you. You don't do that to me. But I mean, she's went on and she still has a career, and rightfully so. She's produced quite a bit. So she's been she's earned the positions that she's taken within the industry, but not because of this.
No, I don't think anyone sort of earns anything out of this.
Yeah,
and they include Alice Cooper in that.
Oh, that was just terrible. The fucking Tom Arnold Roseanne thing.
Oh, ridiculous.
I mean, the funny thing is, on paper, we said this a lot with this franchise. On paper, there's an idea here, and it could have really went dark, but instead they went fucking
cartoon,
Laurel and Hardy, goofy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I don't know.
This is the true nadir of the Elm Street series for me. However, what I would say that there was an earlier version of this script that wasn't used, written by Peter Jackson, that actually sounded very interesting, where it had Freddy old and sort of beaten down and sort of weak, and it had teenagers in the 1990s basically going to parties and then sort of putting themselves to sleep or whatever and getting into dreams and kicking Freddy's ass, basically. But then things get a bit dark when Freddy regains his strength. That could have been interesting, but we'll never know.
Yeah, well, it'll be better than this.
Well, to be fair, anything's better than this.
Now, this is the worst reviewed of the Nightmares, 4.7. And but it cost 11 to make and still pulled in 35. Now, the reason it did the 35 was because of a marketing ploy. They gave 3D glasses to everyone in the theater. Now, I saw this in the theater in 3D at the time.
What was it like?
It was terrible. And it's literally not 3D until the scene where she's in the bed and she puts on the 3D glasses.
Yes, yeah.
That's when you put on the 3D. So we were like, when do we put the 3D glasses on? And then when she put the 3D glasses on, we didn't know we're supposed to put ours on.
Yeah.
So we're like all blurred.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Because 3D, whenever you're watching it without the glasses on, it's just a blur.
Yeah. Which, you know what? After seeing this film again, I wish I did watch it without the 3D glasses. I don't want to have to relive this.
3D without the glasses looks like a badly pirated copy of a film.
Yeah, it does. Or you're trying to watch porn as a kid on one of those hotel channels, and it's blocked. No, and it gets all.
I don't think I've ever experienced that. Ciaran,
fuck off! You know what I'm talking when the TV when the channel's scrambled.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm not a porn hunter.
You're sitting there going, trying to sneak in Squirtum Cowboy or something when you're trying to fucking
Squirtum Cowboy. What? Tell me more.
Wow. Well, you want to know more about it? Just ask Trevor. Everyone, he's his favorite film.
Yeah, Squirtum Cowboy. It's at the OK Corral.
Wow. You don't want that extra mile. You even know about the sequel. All right. Let's quickly get back to Freddy. So in the opening, during the title credits, whatever, you have this thing where it has this quote. And it says, do you know the terror of he who falls asleep? To the very toes he is terrified because the ground gives way under him and the dream begins. That is written by Friedrich Nietzsche.
Yes.
That is the best writing in this entire film.
The philosopher Nietzsche, yeah.
This is it. And if I was Frederick, I'd sue.
Well, he's dead.
Obviously,
He's dead
he
many
can't.
years.
He's dead. Well, obviously, I know he's dead. I was going with a joke there, which you fucking just brutally interrupted.
It didn't work as well as Squirtum Cowboy. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, this. Now, I will say this. I'm not going to tear this film apart. Not yet.
Squirtum Cowboy with your big pistol.
Okay, dude, you need to move on.
Right.
Okay,
right,
really.
enough.
Now, at first it was funny. Now it's just getting really kind of creepy. Okay. Kind of like this film.
Yeah.
But not in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we done? Move on now, please.
Yes, finished with Squirtum Cowboy.
Stop.
You started.
I made it one little off-color comment. It was funny. We had to go, haha. Now you're just going, oh, yeah. What the fuck? So, what the film has going for it, and I will say this, is as the credits are rolling, this intro to John Doe, I really enjoy it, with the plane, and then he falls from the plane into the house, and then it looks like the Wizard of Oz, and Freddy's on the broomstick like the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, I thought that was stupid.
I really enjoyed this, actually.
To be honest, I just felt it felt a little bit too out of place for a Nightmare on Elm Street film. And it felt like a Final Destination opening, actually.
No, it didn't. Wait a minute. How is this out of a place for the shit we've been getting? This is out of place?
I know, but, I mean, to be fair, this film makes the Dream Master and the Dream Child look like a fucking masterpiece. Masterpieces.
Yeah, but that's not fair. This opening sequence is far superior than the crap we got in the last two.
It's okay.
Now the rest of the film's gonna suck dick. Don't get me wrong. Sorry. No, just with the.
It's fine.
Oh, I just couldn't stop. Okay. Okay. What are we talking about?
The plane.
But just I mean, you can't. I mean, this is the same stupidity we've been getting.
I know.
So
that's stupid as well.
But this is well done. I mean, it's kind of fun. I mean, at this point, we just got to go with it, right? Because the franchise is fucked.
Yeah.
This was the best part of the film. Then he rolls down the hill. It doesn't stop.
Yeah, and you can actually see him, like, whatever he is, like, naturally stopping. Like, oh shit, I have to do more tumble rolls here. And you can see him, like, forcing himself to do them. It's woeful.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I actually enjoyed it. It brought me in a little bit. The effects were decent.
It's not the worst.
And yeah, I thought it worked. Now we get this. John Doe he wakes up.
Do you know who John Doe is? Serious point here.
Well, this is the character's name. Well, they don't know. We never get his name.
Jacob from the previous film. They just never mention it, but they more or less acknowledge that it's Jacob.
The freaky little fucker from the last one?
Yep, Poundland Chucky. That's who it is. They just don't name him. But it's been pretty much acknowledged that it is Jacob.
Huh.
Alice's son.
Yeah, I know who the little fucker
in
was.
the original script for this, Freddy's Dead, it was confirmed that it wasn't Jacob, but apparently there were changes made, but it's more or less acknowledged generally that this is Jacob.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll call him John Doe. I'm still going to get...
Well, that's what he's known as, in the finished film, so yeah, that works. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just getting confused again with the dreams and the... See, one thing about like the first one had, and we'll talk to New Nightmare. New Nightmare kind of gets it right too. In other words, anything Wes touches gets it right. And I don't get where he's coming from because so we get the dream. He's on the plane. He falls from the plane to the house, down the hill. Boom. Wake up. He's back in Springwood.
Yes.
Right? And he's been knocked out, banged his head.
Yes.
Fine. Was he because he was dreaming and Freddy put him there?
Well, I think it's sort of, again, there's a lot of confusion here, but there is a sort of suggestion, again, confirming that it's Jacob because his mother has passed down her dream powers to him genetically, so he has some sort of power over the dream world that he's trying to sort of properly master.
But he makes a comment.
Yes.
On the plane, as they're flying, technically what we're supposed to believe is he's flying over... It's Springwood, right?
Yeah,
Am I
think
losing
so.
it? Wow. I can't believe I don't... Yeah, Springwood. I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Springwood. Okay, we'll see fucking Elm Street. So, he's flying over Elm Street in the plane as he falls out of it. He says, I was just about to leave it. And then he falls out of the plane.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking he was in a dream state.
Yes, the beginnings.
And then he... ends up back on Elm Street? I'm confused.
Again, it's not properly. It's not properly explained. Did he fall out of the plane? Well, if he fell out of a plane in the real life, he'd be dead. But it appears.
Have you seen these films?
It appears that he was ejected. Again, it doesn't really make sense. He was ejected from the dream world into the real world, but it's actually Springwood.
Okay.
But I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I don't care. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
That's what the director said after every scene.
Yeah, it's just whatever. Yeah.
So let me get this straight. This takes place 10 years. This takes place in the span of 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 10 years after the last one.
Yes. So there's now, I guess, a halfway house for Elm Street kids?
No, it's basically like a youth hostel for like sort of damaged kids who are like into drugs and crime and stuff.
Oh, okay. So that's not Elm Street. But Elm Street, well, I keep saying Elm Street, Springwood is no longer pretty much habitable. It's all adults and they're nuts.
But see where the youth hostel place is, that's in like a wee town just beside Springwood. So they're not near. They're just there. That's why they go for that little joyride. Yes.
Okay. And that's why Maggie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Maggie. Yeah. Yes, because Maggie, played by Lisa Zane.
Yes.
Or I like to know her as Billy's big sister.
Yes.
She decides she's going to take him and find out who he is.
Yeah. And she's been having dreams as well.
Yeah, which I kind of like. This is what I'm talking about. There's something here that they could. It pisses me off when you have some kind of smart idea. You could have some really good twist here and turns, and you kind of do that, But by the time you do, you're like, oh, fuck,
It's all in the delivery, and the delivery is not great.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So she decides to bring him, and of course, Tracy, Carlos, and Spencer, they stow away in the van with them.
Yes.
And they go to Springwood.
Yes. Also, I would say as well that John Doe believes that he is Freddy Krueger's. There's also this belief that Freddy has a child, as we sort of see flashbacks, and that he is Freddy's son.
And that explains why they don't mention the Jacob thing anymore, because they probably have the Jacob thing, but we know Jacob isn't his kid.
Yes.
So if they revealed it was Jacob, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yes.
So that's why they changed it to John Doe.
Yeah, I think so.
And then the misleading is the misdirect. It's Maggie's actually the kid.
Freddy's daughter, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Which makes sense because it was 1966 when he had a kid, right?
Exactly. Jacob's
Jacob's what, 12?
yeah, exactly. And he doesn't look 12 here. He looks like 12 going on 25, you know?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the ages don't add up.
Yeah, because Jacob's young. He's a teenager.
Yeah, he's like 16, 17.
Lisa Zane is 28 or so, which is what the age would be.
Yeah.
So that was... Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
It sounds like that they were originally going for it being Jacob, then they realised that it didn't make sense within the actual timeline of the previous films, so they just changed it to John Doe.
God, you figured they'd figure this out during the fucking reading or something.
When they were
like
writing
someone raises their hand. Listen, can I say something here?
Yeah. Whatever they were writing it would be, well, I suppose they did rewrite it and they did realise, but yes, it's a bit, yeah.
So they go to this fair and they go to the school. I'm not going to get into details of the Tom Roseanne thing. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It is just
Pointless
soul
nonsense.
destroying. I guarantee Wes Craven looked at this and said, "This is soul destroying."
I think that, see, to be honest, I think this was probably the final straw, where Wes Craven said, I've had enough shit. If they're going to do another Freddy sequel, I want to be in charge, and that's why we got New Nightmare. I think, could be wrong.
So let me ask you this: so Maggie asked the stowaways to take the van back to the little thing, to the whatever
Youth hostel, yeah,
youth hostel.
Oh, Yaphet
Right?
Kotto, he's also there for some reason.
We'll get him. He's not relevant right now. Per Yaphet Kotto, what the fuck were you thinking? And they're going to still explore. They're going to go to school and see if there's any records of him.
You know who's really fucking annoying? The wee guy with the like blonde early 90s fucking curtains hairstyle, where he's like he has issues with his dad. His dad wants him to be just like him.
What?
One of the kids, one of the teenagers.
In what, a flashback?
No, in like that's out on the road trip to Elm Street. The blonde one, the blonde boy. Not Kung Fu Girl. The one who becomes a Nintendo game and pogos.
Oh, I mean, that's Breckenmeyer.
Yeah, he's the most annoying out of them all.
Yeah, he's the only one who's done something, though.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, Lisa Zane did. She just retired.
Mm-hmm.
I would have too after this. No, you're going. Yeah, but you're throwing me out because I'm talking about the teacher thing. That's why I'm getting confused. I was like, was there somebody in the teacher's room? That's right. Because you have this teacher who's trying to do. I don't know. Is this real or is this a dream? I don't. So the whole town's gone mad?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is that what
real.
we're supposed to believe?
It's real. This is the real world. Again, but it does play out like it could be a dream. But it's nonsense. It's all down to. I think they were. You know what? This was released in 1991. They were trying to do a Twin Peaks Lynch quirky town. There's even a line in this that says, "Where are we, Twin Peaks?" But they just do not pull it off. It's really stupid. It's like the whole town, after the trauma of all of their kids basically being killed by Freddy. There's no more kids in Springwood anymore. It's just all adults, and it's like a ghost town. Again, this is later retconned in later films like Freddy vs. Jason. But it's also, there's like some sort of time warp, supernatural stuff going on. Again, this is all in the real world. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
So when they take the van,
yes,
they're doing that time loop that happened on the last one.
Yes.
Right? And the second and last one, whatever, I don't go.
That was 4, yeah.
Yeah, so they have to be in a dream.
No, they're not. It's
but they're in a time loop.
I know that there, but it appears that we've now got supernatural.
This is what I'm talking about. Really get back to basics.
Yeah.
If they're sleeping, we get it. Give us something here. Fine. Well, they end up at Nancy's house, and he decides he wants to go to sleep. Carlos is dead.
Yeah.
Okay, he gets his ears exploded.
Yeah, he gets his ears syringed. Yep.
Which, actually, if you gave a shit about these characters, could have been a good death.
Carlos is probably the most likable character, to be fair.
Yeah, so you got Carlos and Spencer, and Spencer plays the video game. He gets killed in the video game, which makes sense because at the time Mario Brothers was the big fucking game of the year.
Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got why they played on that. And Carlos dealt with the ears was quite good. Now here's the thing about these. These are halfway home, like you said, halfway house kids,
Yes.
right? So you really could have go balls to the wall, go back to basics, and make this ugly as fuck.
Yeah, gritty.
And so you've got Carlos, whose mom beat the shit out of him, causing him to go deaf. You got Spencer, who's got the dad issues. You got the girl, what's her name again?
Kung Fu girl, I just call her.
Tracy.
Yeah, she was
Tracy?
abused by her father.
Sexually abused
Yes.
by her father. And Freddy could have really played that, if you know where I'm going with that.
Yes, exactly.
So you have some dark imagery here.
Yep.
But you make a comic book. What the fuck are you doing?
This overall feels like a children's film. Despite
It
everything
does.
we've just said, even the special effects, the way they're realised, and especially that Nintendo nonsense, it feels like a cartoon, a children's film. You know what it feels like? One of those sort of made for teens type series. Sort of like what did you call that? Oh, I can't even remember them because I never really watched them. But it was, it feels like some sort of high school made for teens drama, not a Nightmare on Elm Street. Certainly not in the tone of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, you got like 90210 or Dawson's Creek or something like that.
Yeah, but or Stranger Things these days,
Stranger Things is fucking far superior than this.
I know, but
now this is where I'm talking about. You have something. Now I was going with the John Doe, trying to figure out who he is. You give him some twists and turns. Fine, I'll go with it. But you kill him halfway through the film, and it throws you off. Like, what the fuck? And then you find out Maggie is the actual daughter. And that is this whole, and then the second act takes place at the halfway house.
yeah,
This whole first act could have been done, but not for fucking laughs
I know.
or cheesiness. You really had something here. How the fuck do you come? How do you? And then the funny thing is, there's such dark tales that these kids have to tell. And even when you talk about Maggie's, you meet Freddy, and you see witnesses Freddy pretty much brutalizing and killing her mother right in front of her when she was a kid.
Yep.
And you see him being burned alive, and it's quite creepy. These stories
It's a
kids
very
have lived
dark,
through.
gritty, potentially very dark and gritty story. But the major issue is the delivery of it, where it's delivered like some sort of like Keenan and Kel. For fuck's sake, I was half expecting them to pop up or something. You know what I mean? And when I say children's, a TV show that it plays out like, I'm not talking about older teens. I'm talking about 13, 14-year-olds. It's stupid, in the extreme.
And they start retconning everything.
Yep.
Now we're saying Freddy was taking their children, not because he was a child molester, which he was, by the way, and killed these kids. He's getting revenge. They weren't getting what was.
He was treated badly in school or something.
Well, he was, but that's another thing I hated. Oh, he killed an animal. His dad's mean to him.
Yeah, that was
Again,
stupid. It didn't work.
You could have made it the opposite. First of all, get rid of fucking Alice Cooper. That's a stupid cameo.
It was really
Second of
badly
all,
played as well by Alice.
Yeah, you should have got someone of competency there, and they should have had this whole backstory. Could have been almost longer. It would have been, and make it dark and depressing, and feel sorry for him, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you could have played on that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just
Wasted opportunity.
yeah.
Very.
And it sucks because I hate seeing a film that you see potential there, and then you think, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It just becomes completely ridiculous. Yeah, they sort of give all this backstory for Freddy and stuff, but again, you're saying that it was for revenge, Freddy's killings, and it wasn't a molester. But yet earlier on in one of the scrapbooks, with the newspaper clippings, it quite clearly states Springwood child molester. In one of the paper clippings. So it's so confused. It's all over the place.
Yeah, I'm lost because
there's no real internal logic or discipline.
Yeah, he wasn't. What was it? I can't remember. They didn't go after him because he was killing kids, which is what they show you in the fucking first one. That's what they go after him for. He takes their children away from them because they took her away from him.
Yeah, something like that. It's like family.
Isn't that how?
Soap opera bullshit. Yeah. It was like because he fell out with his ex-partner or wife, girlfriend, whoever, who had the child to him, but then he kills her, and
yes.
he strangles her, and the child witnesses this. And so there's another wasted opportunity. They could have had the Zian character, was Freddy's daughter, as a really dark character, and even have it her behind the fucking murders in this new one. She's the offspring of Freddy, the bastard son of 100 maniacs. They could have, but instead they just have her as this generic sort of hero in the end who defeats Freddy quite easily. If they could have went down a really dark road of having her be a really dark character, the spawn of Freddy, and it could have set up a whole sort of spin-off franchise as well.
I can't believe I'm about to say this.
Go ahead.
He makes a comment, Freddy.
Yeah.
That the dream people hired him.
Yeah, it's bollocks. Yeah, I fucking hate this.
Oh my God. So when he's being burned alive, you see these little demons flying around him, and he goes, "You're going to be powerful. You're going to be so powerful now."
More retconning.
I'm like,
yeah.
What is this crap?
And the realization of dream demon people is awful. It looks like I doodled it in like 5 seconds.
That's the 3D part.
Yeah.
And then you have Yafakoto plays Doc.
Yes.
He's in a dream sequence, and he's about to get it, but he knows how to set to his alarm. He knows the whole Freddy rules, I guess. I don't know how, but he does.
No, at the start he says he is like researched about some ancient Greek sort of beliefs about dreams and conquering your dreams. It's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Basically a plot device for him to like be the man later on.
Yeah, stupid.
Again, there's a lot of good ideas here, but
there is. But it should have been played straight.
Yes, and gritty, and sort of not like as it does, like a cartoon. So fine. The Doc knows what he's doing, whatever. And then he makes this, guys, I know how to kill Freddy. We just got to bring him out. Well, yeah, we knew about that from the first one. That's no big surprise. Yeah.
Really? First you retcon the first one, now you're stealing from it?
And also, there's nothing original about it because, like you say, we know this. That's exactly how Nancy defeats him in the first one.
Oh my God. This is terrible.
Yep.
This is really bad.
Total crap. And the true nadir of the series, sadly.
I mean, and they blow him up.
Yeah.
Oh, don't you love when she pulls him out and Doc all of a sudden becomes the Hulk?
Yep. He can
and removes a prison steel door.
Oh, yep. Now, again, if it was a dream, that would be fine because he would beat Kincaid, basically. But no, this is the real world, so he can now rip off fucking steel doors from a sort of secure youth hostel, whatever it is. Also, then Kung Fu Girl, who's her acting's dreadful, is bouncing about doing stupid nonsense. And yeah, my brain checked out. It was just, what am I watching? This is just a mess.
And then at the end, she goes, "That's it. Freddy's dead."
Yeah.
And she's smiling. And then we get a montage of all the other films.
Even the montage is badly done. And it was, this is just bad. Overall, some great ideas, but terrible delivery of it all. Even the line delivery, Freddy's dead. Why couldn't we have had a final scare where, like, you see her or something picking up the hat or the glove, you know, like sort of suggesting that she was going to carry on. She should have been a much darker character.
Well, all these should have been much darker characters.
Exactly.
I mean, this is just bad. I mean, this is just
Yeah.
wow. I mean, at least the other ones, I could go G-Master, go, well, I kind of like the first half.
Yeah.
Or I kind of like this and this. Now, this had, like I said, I'll back up. I do like the intro in the beginning, and you had a twist that it wasn't John Doe the whole time. You had me there. I mean, what the who cares?
Yeah, it's very very poorly executed all round. It's just all over the place, and yeah, incoherent mess.
Well, the only good that came out of Freddy's Dead was the fact that Wes Craven shook his head and goes, "Nah, I got to come back.
Yes,
I got to end this and clean it up." And he is back with Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This one is the biggest disaster of all of them. Cost $8 million, it made 19, but it's become more of a cult status, and it has always been critically well received.
Yeah, and I think over time it's become more sort of respected as well.
Yeah, it's a lot more appreciated. I think why that is because the younger viewers, like myself at the time, watched the Freddy movies and enjoyed them. Didn't really get into New Nightmare. But as we become adults or more, smarter and wiser, we realize that Wes Craven has something here.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, it's not as good as I remembered.
I think what damaged the film as well was Freddy's Dead being so bad. There was just I think a lot of people had just checked out of the series.
Yeah, you can say that with the Friday 13s too.
Yes.
Enough's enough.
Yeah.
But, this one's an easy one to do. You got Wes as Wes, Heather as Heather, John is John, Robert is Robert, and Freddy. Miko Hughes is Dylan, and then you got Jason Julie. There you go.
Yep.
There's your team. The movie had potential to be really fucking great, and we'll dive into what went wrong and some of the decision making, and I'm sure what I might say was discussed. But let's jump into Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I just don't care. It's just nice to see Wes back in the credits.
Yes,
that's and not for created by. I wanted written and directed by Wes. So I like how they kept continuity. As we all know, Heather Leathercamp is married to an FX artist, so they kept that true to this. She's married to the FX guy working on the new Freddy movie.
Yes, she also had a stalker in real life, which they incorporated into the script.
Yeah, they asked her about that. It was funny. Wes was talking about that. He says it's funny. Everyone thinks horror movies are the problem, but yet she was being stalked by the guy who was passionate about Just the 10 of Us, some family TV show that she was on, and it had nothing to do with horror films.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Goes to show you where the lunatics are.
Out there in the real world, with the real horrors.
Yeah, like Just the 10 of Us. That was terrible.
I've never seen it, but I know it was like a sort of teen, sort of sitcom-y type thing.
Yeah, it was terrible. Oh, it was bad.
Right, I don't know.
What do you do? I like the whole intro of Freddy's glove, and you see it being made, and you see just everything looks like
it's a new glove.
It's Nightmare on Elm Street, but what you don't realize that you're on the set of a film.
Yeah,
which I kind of like that introduction. And then you see the crew get it with this glove. The glove goes nuts.
Yes,
because it's this new mechanical Freddy glove, and we find out it's a dream because Nancy, I'm going to keep saying Nancy, Heather has been woken up by an earthquake.
Yes.
I kind of like that. The earthquake kind of saves her ass sometimes. Yeah. We got a little boy, Dylan, who I always like to see. Never understood why he never made it bigger like our Elijah Woods have, because he was a very talented young kid. Yeah, Michael Hughes. Is it Miko or Michael?
Oh, I don't know. I always would have pronounced it as Michael. But yeah, it was the kid from Pet Cemetery, and I think with child actors, a lot of them don't really make the transfer to adult acting. Apart from obviously, there is some like Elijah Wood, but people like Corey Feldman and stuff struggled, and then what do you call that wee guy from the Spielberg Kubrick film AI?
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, he's also in The Sixth Sense as well, of course. He has never really progressed properly, and had a full career in adult acting. He was in an episode of the recently updated X-Files, series from a few years ago. But, not all of these child stars make it. But you know what? Michael Hughes is really good here for an 8-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. Pet Cemetery, he's like a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old.
Exactly.
He was good in Kindergarten Cop. He stole that. And then he was good in Mercury Horizon. Nice little movie he did with Bruce Willis. Mm-hmm. So, he's got he's gone to do his own thing, whatever he's doing now, but he's got a nice little, he's got probably a better library of films that actors have been doing there for,
and he's the horror kid.
Their whole life.
Literally.
So, there you go. Now, the stalker thing, it kind of gets a little muddled here in the story. She gets a phone call, and this guy sounds like Freddy, right? Yes. Is that the stalker guy, supposedly? He's just sounding like Freddy?
No, well, you sort of think that at first, but there's a bit of sort of ambiguity there, where it could very well be this demon that's taken the form of Freddy. We're not actually getting Freddy here. It's actually a demonic entity that is taking the form of Freddy.
Yeah, I know. Wes discusses that. But, so, the stalker is not really a stalker. It's the prelude to what's coming.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, but again, it's left open to interpretation.
Okay. Well, now because of this whole stalking thing, she needs to start getting out and promoting herself.
Yes.
So I do like the shot when she goes to the TV show.
Yes.
And she's discussing herself, blah blah. And then Freddy comes out, and the crowd goes fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And
it's all kids.
Yeah, it's all kids, or even family. And there's a scene where she's in her dressing room, and nobody's asking for her autograph. But there's hundreds of people looking to get into Freddy, and he's signing autographs. It just goes to show you the mentality of people these days.
Oh, absolutely. Well, not that even back then, because Freddy was a breakout star.
Again, child murder pedophile.
What's that, sorry?
Child murderer pedophile.
Well, exactly. It's exactly. It is bizarre. And you know what? I was one of those kids back then. I'd have been sort of,
What do you mean? One of them still back then? You still are, you fucking freak.
Well, I still am that horror kid, but again, even when I was a kid, and I loved the Freddy films and the Hellraiser films and Jason films, all of that 80s sort of madness, but specifically concerning Freddy Krueger, I didn't consider him as a child a paedophile. That sort of went over my head. He was just a child killer to me. So it did work. They're bullshit, They're bullshitting of us. Well, for the kids anyway. For me anyway, as a kid.
I was smart enough. I knew right away.
Right, bullshit, liar.
I was like, oh my God, this is a pedophile. I'm going to watch Jason. He doesn't do this kind of stuff.
Jason's a much more respectable sort of...
He's like, whoa, I don't touch kids.
Yeah.
I do like the fact we finally get Robert Englund outside of the box here, because I think it's nice to be he's able to play two characters here, himself obviously, and then Freddy. So it's nice to see that transition, and it's probably, I'm sure he was glad that he got to do a role with the people he's worked with before without all the makeup.
Yeah, and I do a bit of actual sort of non-Freddy acting in a Nightmare on Elm Street film. And not just running about, making wisecracks after sort of, killing, teenagers. But, yeah, I mean, good on him, yeah. He actually gets top billing here as well. But then he has done for the previous few films.
With the scene where he's in the TV show and he, jumps in the middle of the interview, surprises Heather Leathercamp. And he's slowing down. And you see him waving his claw, his hands in the air.
Yeah.
And everyone's rooting for him, blah, blah. Is this trying to stick with the traditional story of Nightmare that Wes Craven created, where every time, like when Freddy comes out in full costume and everyone's jumping up, oh, Freddy's back.
Yes.
Is this the same concept as he needs that? He needs people to believe in him. So every time Freddy's mentioned, Wes is writing the script, so forth. It fuels this demon.
Yeah, that's what sort of Wes himself, or the sort of version of Wes in the film, pretty much says. It's it was like this demon was basically has been lying dormant or whatever, but then it's in some way sort of brought alive through Freddy Krueger in the story. So it sort of needs Freddy to be continuing his adventures, for want of a better word, for it to exist, or basically something like that, I think.
So when Chase gets it, her husband, with the claw on the car, and the cops come to the door.
Yes.
And is he dead? And he's like, yes, ma'am, your husband's dead. She goes, I want to see the body. No, you don't want to do that. And he's like, yep, I'm going. So she goes to the morgue by herself, opens the door. There's a bunch of dead bodies being worked on. And she's like, oh, hey, I'm here to see my husband.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I don't think that's how it
okay.
works in real life.
That's not how it works.
I believe
you're brought into it.
Especially in an accident like that. I believe you would have to arrange with the coroner's office. I mean, I don't know. I've never done it myself, but
you are put in a little room.
Yes. We have to wait.
It's kind of like, you witnessing and you going to a lineup, and the body is rolled into the room, and they fold to the face from the neck. They fold from the head up, and they show you the face.
Yeah.
You don't just walk into a morgue.
Yeah, it is a bit sort of weird. Also, there is a lot of. I think anyway. Again, I'm no sort of expert in hospital protocol, but I think there is a bit of playing loose and fast with sort of in the hospital scenes later on. With the rules of hospitals and.
Yeah, we'll talk about the way the nurses were acting too, because I got a lot of questions about them.
I like the older nurse in it.
Ah, she was a bitch.
Oh yeah, no, but again, she was right. Like the sort of elderly nurse or the doctor, actually, Doctor is it Sims or Simmons in Nightmare 3? She was right. She had the child's concern number one in her mind.
You know what this show is missing?
What?
A drunken parent.
What?
We always get a drunken parent or a drunken whore parent in all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. We don't have one here.
Although we do get a stupid later on, we do get a stupid Freddy Krueger slide. It's like Waterworld at the end.
What is that?
Whenever she eventually accepts that she's being Nancy again, and she goes onto the bed covers.
Oh, yeah. When she starts taking the pills.
Yes, the breadcrumbs pills. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. So here's the problem. Here's the problem with the film. So he dies, Chase.
Yes.
And you have some Tuesdays back, and you've got some of the supporting actors are back for the funeral from the original films.
Good to see Rod, the actor who played Rod.
He's back. He's back. And what I don't get, especially with Wes, especially with Robert Shea, and especially Robert Englund, you have something here, and the movie's almost 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I wasn't bored or anything. I still enjoyed myself. And it's fucking far superior than anything besides the first one. That
I agree. It's the best sequel.
So, what they really could have, because there's some of it with Dylan and her was kind of getting elongated a bit. And it seemed like a copy and paste.
Yeah, it was getting quite repetitive where she was waking up.
Yeah.
And Dylan was being
waking up
and watching
Dylan's running
Elm Street.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was like, okay, enough's enough. You could have taken 20 minutes of theirs and pulled it. And what I really wanted to see was Wes, Robert, and John Saxon and Robert Shea all get it by Friday.
Yes, and also maybe even together more in scenes, you know? Yeah.
Or, something where there's been an act. Even if you mention it, Wes has been killed in an accident. They should have, because it was just Nancy and Dylan.
Yeah.
Nancy and Heather and Dylan. Well, why isn't Wes getting involved in this?
Well,
then?
Robert ends up just like disappearing completely, you know, apart from obviously Freddy. But I mean, Robert as himself, he ends up just like running off with his wife off screen.
Yeah.
Apparently,
And
they were talking about doing a scene where he has a dream as Robert, where he encounters Freddy as a spider, but they decided to not go with it because it was too cheesy, like the previous sequels had been.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You could even have, be kind of funny, but it would work if Freddy he's in the makeup chair or something, and he's getting, tested for full on makeup gear, and he's got to fight himself. He's got to fight the ancient demon person as Freddy, and he's dressed up as Freddy.
Right, two Freddys.
So he's got the claws. So you got two Freddy, and he's doing the best he can, but he's still human at the end of the day. And he'll get his ass. I mean,
or even better,
really cool.
You could have had Robert as in the older, sort of original Freddy sort of makeup, fighting the demon who is like this new Super Freddy makeup. Which is it's a different look for Freddy. So that would have been cool.
I love the green hat.
Yes, and
everything's fresh and bright. It's pretty cool looking, actually.
Yeah, the trench coat, definitely. But did you know what Wes's original idea for his own character in this was?
Yeah, they cut out his eyelids, I heard, or something.
While being driven around by Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, that's a weird one. But a lot of people wouldn't get the reference, though, from Michael Berryman, because he was in, you said The Hills of Eyes, directed by Wes Craven. Even give us that scene.
Yeah.
Give us something where England...
They sort of suggest it too. That's the best about it, because you see Robert's doing the painting of, like, the sort of creepy painting of Freddy, but yet they never follow it up,
Yeah, and I think that is a massive letdown.
Yes. I agree.
Because that's what people, I think, wanted to see. Yeah. You want to see John Saxon get it, and you want to see the actors getting killed off by the character they helped kill off in the original. Yes. It would have been so much fun.
I did like the way, David Lynch-esque, the way it just fuses into the sort of fictional world later on, where John Saxon starts calling her Nancy. And then all of a sudden, he's her dad in the film. I thought that was pretty cool. What didn't work for me, I have to say, which I thought was cheesy, was the motorway scene where fucking the kid, Dylan, escapes from the hospital.
I thought that was
all right. But it was...
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay. Kind of reminiscing of Mercury Rising.
Yes. I haven't seen Mercury Rising.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind that. I mean, you got to realize... The fight sequence between herself, Dylan, and Freddy at the end is like 25 minutes.
Yes.
And we didn't need that much.
Yeah.
You really could have peppered in some of these other outside
also,
deaths.
I found that this version of Freddy was also was defeated in quite an easy manner. They basically just burnt him,
Well, what Freddy isn't killed in an easy manner? I mean, it's all the same thing. It's, throw him in the fire. Okay. Oh, bring him out. We'll beat the shit out of him.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, but it just did feel a bit too convenient and easy for me. What was really good, I have to say? The death of the babysitter, which was replicating the Tina death in the original.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. And actually, you felt sorry for her because she was just trying to help.
She's pretty fucking annoying, so I was torn.
Wow, sicko. You sick bastard.
Freddy is... You know what's great about this film? This version of Freddy is proper sinister. But again, they could have done so much more with it. But I do love the look with the hat and the trench coat that we've discussed.
Yeah, he did. He looked like almost a really cooler version of Dick Tracy. The green fedora. He got the green raincoat, but not a raincoat. It was more of a trench coat.
It felt like Freddy Krueger if he was if he'd been done in a graphic novel or something,
Yeah, Frank Miller's
yes.
Frank Miller style of Freddy.
Yes, Very cool, very and very sinister compared to what we've just witnessed in sort of previous sequels, where it's a cartoon character.
And again, I think a lot of time was wasted. Even though there's some of the stuff working in the hospital, I do think a lot of it's wasted and it's copy and paste. Again, this copy and pasting with Dylan and her wouldn't stop. There's even a line where she runs back to check on Dylan, and she's going nuts. And not Tina, I keep saying Tina because she dies like Tina. Julie's there, and they just want to see the kid. And Nurse Meanie says, no, he's fine. We have him in an oxygen tent right now. What the fuck?
But and even
okay.
And even the behavior of like the younger nurses are quite bitchy as well.
Yeah, when they trick her to put the kid to sleep.
Yeah, but it's all a bit weird, But
I was like, is this a dream? No nurses would treat this person.
Oh no, these were like
this.
full on nurse ratchets, But yeah, but it is a bit weird. Those scenes are a bit weird. But yeah, and there was a sort of repeating of the stuff with the, Dylan, getting the hijinks. It got a bit repetitive. I did like how they're playing around, although I think it should have been explored more. How they were playing around with, mental illness and what is, or is this mental illness or is this actually really happening? But I think they could have explored that more. But it was a good theme to sort of, play with anyway.
As I do like the misdirect when John Saxon shows up again, and he's talking to her, and they're just having a normal conversation, and he's like, "What are you talking about? Who's this John? Who's this John,
that's what I was saying. It's David Lynch-esque, yeah."
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, and now that's when you said earlier she has to accept that she's Nancy now, and then to go after and get her kid
for one final adventure.
I do like that
as Nancy.
Yeah, I do like that, and I gotta give a shout out. I think his name is J. Peter Robinson. I will say right now, this is by far the best score of all the Elm Streets.
Yeah, especially that ending sort of orchestral theme.
That's what I'm saying, because that orchestra comes in when she's going underneath the bed taking the pills, and the orchestra starts kicking in. It's not this mosaic crap.
No, it's very effective. So it is definitely.
It certainly does work.
Yeah, but where was Alice Cooper? Or Ghost Nun?
And where's Tom Arnold and Roseanne? I mean, what's going on?
Where's Ghost Nun?
Here's what works with this film.
Yeah,
you had a couple of funny one-liners from Freddy. Very few, but you had a couple of them, just like he did in the original.
It was, toned down.
You kept, and this was dark and brutal when the deaths, like when Julie got it. Yeah, and that's why I thought more deaths should have been happening, because you felt for Julie when she got it. She was just trying to help the kid, so it kept in tone with the original.
Yeah,
and this is why this has Wes written all over.
Oh yeah. And very much the whole sort of meta stuff was, of course, something that he would follow up with the Scream films a couple of years later.
Yeah, self-aware.
Yeah, that's it.
And I do love when there's a big rivalry. You and I had a fight over this one. Robert Shea and Wes Craven got an argument over the stupid oatmeal stairs in the first one.
Yeah, but they do it again in this.
They do it in this one, but Wes does it right.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much him giving a nod to Robert Shea, I'm sure. Or Robert Shea even says a joke. Let's put him in there.
Yeah, it's an in-joke.
Because it's just, yeah.
And there's quite a lot of them in there. There's actually a bit where Nancy is in the hospital when she's trying to get to see the kid. And the younger nurse is actually, one of the younger nurses is played by Wes Craven's daughter. He says, "Where's your pass?" He goes, "Screw your pass." Directly lifted from the scene in the school where she's dreaming in the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's probably a lot of that, and then you got to watch it a few times to catch it.
Yeah.
But and then she chucks him in the furnace, and then they wake up, and she starts reading him the script.
Yeah. Well, there's stuff there about fairy tales and stuff as well, which is pretty good, and for me, you know what? I know we've now sort of covered on this podcast the sort of main Elm Street series, but for me, looking back at them in retrospect and doing this, by far the best ones are the ones that have the involvement of Wes Craven, of course, and Heather Langenkamp, and John Saxon, 1, 3, and New Nightmare.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's fair to say. Nah, I'm just gonna give it 1 in this one.
Right. Well, fair enough.
I and chuck the rest. I'm not a fan. The funny thing is, like I said, we still got to talk about the reboot, which I'm actually a fan of. So that's gonna be an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
When we end this retrospective, and yeah, I get why people like them because they're fun. They're actually, in all fairness, they are an easy watch.
Oh yeah.
And they can be entertaining. And if that's what you're looking for, kudos. But to me, I see 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., as disappointments. And the reason is the source material deserved better. And I just feel you have a vile human being here, and you needed to play on that, and they took that away from Wes Craven. So I think that's why New Nightmare gets the massive pass.
I think the series as a whole would have taken a whole different direction if indeed David Warner had have played Freddy originally, because he would have had a much darker take on it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think, but again, we'll never know. You know.
Well, we might if they do a reboot, which I know it's going to happen.
There's talk Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
He would be good. I mean, I'm not
tall and lanky, and that's
as a rule, I'm not really a fan of remakes and reboots and stuff. But if they really do have to do it, Kevin Bacon would be a very good choice.
Well, I think Nightmare should get a reboot because I think the whole series went in the toilet. So I would like to see what they can do they stick to its roots. Don't turn it into a fucking farce.
Yeah.
Do something, like they did that with the Friday 13th. Friday 13th became a joke. Then they did the reboot, and the reboot was quite good.
It's funny you mention that because I was always more of a fan of Freddy than Jason. If I had to choose, really, essentially. Whereas you were more Jason over Freddy. And it's funny because I actually think out of all the Friday the 13th, the most competent and well-made and effective one is actually the remake of it. So it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on the Freddy remake.
Yeah, but say most competent one. I mean, part 4 of Friday 13th, part 2 of Friday 13th, part 1 of Friday 13th.
Well, it's been a year. It's been over a year since we did that, so we might have to revisit.
But yeah, no, you're right. You're right because I still went with the first one over the remake. Even though I did enjoy the remake of Friday 13th. But yeah, you're right because you're more of a Nightmare on Elm Street fan than I am. So of the original, that is, and so it'll be interesting to see what my take is on the I see what your take is on the reboot.
Yes,
but we'll dive into that one. In the meantime, we'll let this sink in. And we will be back. Give us a shout at CitizenFrame_podcast, and of course on Facebook. If you have any thoughts or anything on what we just talked about, or if you have any ideas or films you'd like us to see, or maybe a retrospective you'd like to see, please don't say Leprechaun.
Chucky.
Well, we'll probably get to Chucky anyway, just because it's Chucky. But the new issue of Phantasm Goria is out now.
It is indeed.
It is a big one. And if you're in London, well, I'll let you take over from here, Trevor.
Yes, we are doing a launch of our Phantasmagoria Hellraiser special this coming weekend, this Saturday, the 23rd of March, in the Marquis Cornwallis pub in central London. All welcome. Everyone is welcome. Never mind Freddy Krueger, never mind Jason. It's all about Pinhead and the Cenobites and creepy Uncle Frank and the wicked stepmother, Aunt Julia. Or stepmother, Aunt Julia, not aunt. Anyway, yes, the issue is available throughout the world from Amazon, also Forbidden Planet, Belfast. And if you're in the central London area or in the London area on Saturday the 23rd of March, feel free to pop into the Marquis Cornwallis pub from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. where some of the cast and crew and those involved with the magazine will be signing copies, including Peter Atkins, who wrote Hellraisers 2, 3 and 4 and the original Wishmaster. Stephen Jones will be there as well, Jeff Portas, Graham Humphreys, Les Edwards, and it should be a great one.
Now, on that note, I do want to let everyone know I sadly won't be there.
Unfortunately, we couldn't secure a contract, a deal, with Kieran. He's
Yeah.
asking for too much,
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, come on.
The star part.
Also, yeah, I didn't want to take away from your big day.
Thank you.
So I said, whoa, I can't be a distraction.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to walk away.
Also, he was out here to see the real story. He was asking for too much money, making demands like a diva.
Yep. Where's my car? Where's my car?
I want royalties, you know what I mean? I want you.
Yeah, so guys, check it out if you're in the local area there. It's be kind of fun. And you can at least meet Trevor.
Yeah.
People say that my better half, but I doubt it. All right. Guys, have a good one. Take care of yourselves, and we'll chat soon.